Em 5 segundos, mais uma transmissão de conhecimento do Centro Universitário Internacional Uninter.
Olá, boa noite a todas e todos.
Good evening, everyone. Good morning to our guests who are participating all the way from China. I'm Jason Diet, the Vice President of the Global Hub at Uninter. It's a great pleasure to be with you in this event, Talking Business. Our focus today is going to be China, Brazil, the US, and international experiences. Of course, it's a very broad landscape. We have as guests 2 Brazilians studying in Harvard, 2 China students, together with their dean from the Sanya University. My role here is to moderate and try to take advantage of all the knowledge that we have here in a little bit more than an hour. So for this event, you're going to have some pragmatic details. We are transmitting this event for 2 YouTube channels. The first one is the Uninter Group in Portuguese, and we are also broadcasting in English with our Global Hub channel. So you can click on both if you want to migrate from one to another. There is a link in each broadcast, so you can go from one to another language. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the event today in Portuguese, and I'm going to talk a little bit in English, and then I'm going to talk in Portuguese with Lucas and Isa, and in the second part, we're going to have a Q&A session. So feel free to ask any question you want. We are going to be monitoring that. You don't need to keep repeating your question many times because we are going to compile everything. At the end of the event, we're going to try to address most of the questions we receive. First of all, I would like to thank you guys for the opportunity to visit China together with our Professor Jefferson Fahel from Global Hub. It wouldn't be possible without Uninter support and the great welcoming that we received at the Sanya University. And it's a great importance for the Global Alliance, which is to mobilize and have this bridge between China, the US, and more countries. It's very important in any international business. You need a partner, a reliable partner, and we had an excellent experience in China, thanks to Global Alliance and all the welcoming that we had at the Sanya University. As I said before, for decades, in the US, Harvard University has been a destination sought after. But more than 15 years ago, China became one of the most important commercial partners in Brazil. For a while, China wasn't seen as a leader in high technology and the quality of their products. But today, I read an article at The Economist magazine, which is a well-known and well-regarded magazine, and it highlighted how Brazilians see the quality of products from China. I mean, in terms of the type of trade that we have today with China. Today, Brazil receives 10% of direct investments from China, which is a lot more than the Chinese investment in the US. So with 2 Brazilian students who are having a very well positioned in Harvard, who managed to achieve something that many other people wanted to achieve, and being able to talk to the director of one of the most that like the highest rated university, private university in China, which is Sanya University. It's a great to have you here. Now I'm going to switch to English, and I'm going to talk to Jin Yu and their students.
Pleasure to see you again. It was wonderful being together in person just a week ago. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you very much for being so agile in getting your students, Jocelyn and Sean, to join us today. And I'd love to, just start with a question for our viewers, most of whom are Brazilian university students who have not had the opportunity to go to China yet. So could you please just provide us with some background and context on the University of Sanya and the business school that you lead?
Thank you, Jason. It's great for us to have such opportunity to talk to the student in Brazil and globally. And I will start briefly regarding your question. Then we can continue into the related question and the matters participating are interested in today for the event. We also have two excellent students, as I mentioned earlier at the beginning. One is Sean and one is Jocelyn. They are going to use their personal experience to introduce, to talk about the student and academic and related life and issues in China, especially such a city as in Sanya, Highland province. For the question Jason mentioned earlier, it is, generally speaking, Sanya University is the biggest university located in the southernmost tropical coast city of China. It is the most southern province in China. If you look at the map, it's like in the bottom of the China, the whole territory. The university is funded and supported by Geely Holding Group, one of the Fortune Global 500 company. It's producing the new energy called EVs, and it's also reported earlier. It was marketed very popular in European and other foreign countries besides China. And it's jointly built, the university jointly built by Geely Holding Company and Highland Province government, and also including Sanya Municipal Government. Our campus covers an area of about 200 hectares and currently has about 25,000 students on the campus. For the business school, which is where I is the dean, is the largest school at the Sanya University. It has 8 academic departments offering 13 undergraduate majors, including accounting, financial management, business administration, marketing, human resource management, supply chain management, cross-border e-commerce, international economics and trade, and finance, investment, financial technology, digital economy, blah, blah, blah. And almost all the popular major and advanced technology in the application of finance and economic area are covered in our school. Our core mission is to cultivate the high quality application-oriented business talent, like you are going to hear from Sean and Jocelyn. They're going to talk about their experience regarding about core mission. And our strong emphasis is on learning by doing through real-world projects. In other words, it's offering project-based curriculum in terms of just read the book, cover the PPT in the classroom. We encourage, offer a lot of opportunity for students to learn in the enterprise, in real business work for their coursework. Our students focus on various fields of the modern business management, the area I have mentioned earlier. And we have a very good campus life too. We're going to mention it later. But in general, briefly, that is a description I'm going to offer for the first question Jason was mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dean. I appreciate it. And you brought up something that I wanted to ask in a follow-up question. So Geely, I think most people in Brazil probably know, a huge auto manufacturer, over 1.5 million units per year, growing quickly all around the world. And certainly that includes Brazil. We don't see the cars in the United States because of trade barriers, frankly. But I'm curious, you talked about practical education, and feel free, Dean, if Jocelyn or Sean, should answer. But how do you prepare students for careers in high-tech industries, or how do you prepare your business students for the needs of a company like Geely?
That is a very good question, Jason. And as I mentioned earlier, the mission at Sanya University, especially my school, are different from general regular school in China. Our mission is focused on real world, real project-based curriculum, which will be expressed or focused in the following 4 areas. One is our school, our university is a jointly industry school. It's not purely a school like we have experience in the real world, like some university like a Beijing University or Tsinghua University or Shanghai University in China. They are solely funded by the government, by the Ministry of Education. But our school are funded by Geely Automobile Company. It's a Fortune 500 company that is jointly industry school. It has the base, the focus on the industry. Secondly, our school teaching are on the base of real project, real work. In other words, it's project-based teaching. We don't just teaching from the textbook or based on PPT. The professors, the faculty members bring the classroom to the real world business. They're going to show what is the problem, what is the project they are going to face after they graduate. In other words, it's like a co-op opportunity in the American school or other place. Thirdly, the university is offering a large-scale cornerstone project internship. It is jointly offered by Geely Automobile Company. Every year, we have over hundreds, like 2,000 or 3,000 students are offered opportunity in the Geely Automobile Company along their supply chain, like the manufacturing, the sales department, finance department, the overseas department, blah, blah, blah. So they are totally supporting us. So we are students get a very good opportunity, the Fortune 500 before they graduate. Fourthly, not lastly, we have 3+1 training model in some majors. Like we have, for instance, we have some kind of technology. We have a 3-year spending in the school, 1 year spending in the automobile company. You're going to design the cars. Then you can back to school to learn something. You're going to back to the company to start to do real project. like design car, according your relative majors. So those four are characteristically for our business school teaching and education model. I think Jocelyn and Sean, we also can add something to my part.
Fantastic. And let me ask Jocelyn and Sean, if you could also let me know if are there international students at the University of Sanya, and is there interest of students at the University of Sanya in Brazil and potentially studying there? So Sean, maybe,
Okay,
oh, go ahead,
yes.
please, Jocelyn.
Yes, thank you. We have international students from many countries, such as Russia and African nations. So the campus has a rich multicultural vibe. But honestly, I don't know much about Brazil yet. But many of the students in my school are really curious about its local business market and startup environment. We understand that Brazil is a major South American country with that huge potential in innovation, new energy, and agri-tech. Agri-tech as well. So we sincerely hope that more chances and cooperation programs could be built in the future to like share resources and connect students. Thank you.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you, Jocelyn. And Sean, maybe you could share a little bit, either your personal experience or of other students, in what Dean Yu was talking about with hands-on access to education. How does that work?
About AI.
Sure, it could be about AI or your practical education where you're learning things that you'll use shortly after graduating.
Honestly, AI translation has been a lifesaver for me. When I first joined the collaborative program with Berkeley College and entered for English classroom, honestly, I was nervous. In accounting classes taught by American professors, the specialized terminology was overwhelming at first. AI tools helped me bridge that gap and gradually improved my comprehension. But I see it as a training wheel, not a final destination. The goal is to become comfortable thinking and expressing ideas directly in English, using AI as a stepping stone rather than a crutch forever. Yeah.
Great, thank you. And one thing that I would say is, in my personal experience, which is much deeper in Brazil, and I'm a newcomer to China. I've had the chance to go there twice, but the challenge of language is just huge. It's not like, somebody who speaks Portuguese learning English or somebody who speaks English learning Spanish. Those are much more similar. So I am incredibly impressed with the ability to learn, the language, and what Sean was talking about in terms of AI, right? Or just translation has come so far so fast that it's no longer a problem to communicate via technology. I think a big issue is, can you build relationships? Can you have trust? And that's the area with, that I think the type of exchange that Jocelyn, you were saying there's interest, and something that we're definitely interested at UniInter trying to make possible is more direct interaction. It's very challenging with the language differences, but also hugely important. So let me ask about there's really advanced digital payment systems and digital platforms, Alipay and WeChat. So, Dean Yu, does the Sanya Business School help prepare students for careers in fintech as well?
Right. That is excellent, I think, question we are going to talk about. one of the most strong program in our business school, which is the focus on the financial technology, as Jason and Sean and Jocelyn mentioned earlier. On the Sanya University campus, we have hundreds of international students, and they are coming from different countries. They have different language, different preferences, different culture. So we are trying to focus on two most demanding areas. One is for those foreign students, they are going to fully take advantage of artificial intelligence application on the campus, like on classroom translation from Chinese to English, from Chinese to French, blah, 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 just as mentioned earlier by Sean and Jocelyn. We also going to focus on the second area is financial technology application on the campus, around the Sanya University located city and province, like digital payment, fintech, and career preparation for the future in the financial industry. I think they can do a couple areas I want to mention, especially. First, we have one of the earliest fintech undergraduate program in the country. I can proudly say we are the first of such kind of major in the Highland province. And the student in the classroom can go to our laboratory, which equipment with the most advanced trading technology and in terms of fintech application in the business. Secondly, students will have the first-hand experience to participate in renminbi, which is China's currency, renminbi digitalization, which is widely praised by the global business leaders. China is one of the most advanced country in terms of fintech application in the business world. Like Jason was mentioned, I still can recall when the foreigners, especially from Brasília, which is a friendly country with China, as everybody knows. And when they come here, they speak Portuguese, so they have some kind of problem to communicate with a taxi driver, the hotel, and banks, and government official, blah. But they have very good opportunity to just using the cell phone to solve all the problems. They have translation, digital currency payment, Alipay, and WePay, WeChat Pay, and eBay, something like that. And this is the application. In terms of the classroom, we offer cutting-edge curriculum in the financial technology industry. Myself actually was a senior executive in one of China's largest bank. When I started to teach, I bring the most advanced banking business, including fintech application, into the classroom. The student can ask me any question regarding how fintech are used in the banking industry. And other issue mentioned is the major for the undergraduate program are integrated with the industry, the finance, and the student will have ample opportunity to go to the bank, go to the investment firms, go to other related industry to learn, to apply what they learn in the classroom. I think Sean and Jocelyn can talk about their using experience in terms of fintech knowledge on the campus. Sean.
The school has built fintech-related courses that expose students as well as blockchain applications and other emerging technologies. The highlight is the simulated trading hall where students practice stock trading and financial analysis with professional tools. Through partnerships with fintech companies and banks, students gain hands-on experience in digital banking and risk management, skills that are in huge demand right now.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Sean and DU. This has been really great to get a better understanding for the University of Sanya. I'm sure that we have a lot of people listening who have interest in, going abroad. I've certainly felt that among the students that I work with, and I'm delighted to try to help build more bridges and make that flow of students larger. So I'm going to switch over to Portuguese and have the conversation with Isa and with João Lucas, and then we'll come back to audience questions, which will be based on what the audience's interests are. So, com isso, foi prazer poder conversar com o Dinhu. Agora, Isa.
It was a pleasure to talk to Dinhu, Shannon, Jocelyn, Isa. It's a pleasure to have you here. You study biology, molecular biology, and what took you to this combination of different areas? Thank you, Jason. Thank you for the invitation. I think what led me to study those different areas, they are not that different. It's because in the US, the system in the US is different from the system in Brazil. We can study different subjects at the same time. So here we have like majors and minors, and I was always fascinated by molecular biology. I was always interested in genetics, and I have a specific case, a personal case, that in terms a disease in my family, and I think genetics is the platform of future medicine. This semester I had a class on cancer. Most of everything that's been launched in terms of cancer has to do with genetics, and statistics is complementary to add. We always talk about the p-value. That is the statistic part of all validated hypotheses. So the data in terms of the DNA sequencing, it's huge in terms of terabytes. So everything is worked together. So it's very important to work. It's for molecular biology. They sound different, but they are very close. I'm very curious because you are a research assistant at the medicine school lab, and not all students manage to do that. Can you tell us a little bit about how you are studying, how you do the bridge between working in science research and your experience in your undergrad studies? I think I've always been focused in books and to learn about the theory, but I missed the practical experience of doing things. I was really excited about arriving to the US, to Harvard. Sometimes you get anxious because there's so many things to do. So I managed to focus on what I wanted to do, and I realized that I wanted to do genetics studies. We had 2 Brazilians working in this lab, so these 2 Brazilians helped me to do this bridge, because I'm very interested in genetic study of autoimmune disease, and they are trying to revert the T cells from the immune system. They're the main defense, or the primary defense cells in our bodies. And when you get older, or when you have cancer, the T cells get debilitated and they age, basically. So one of the greatest challenges today is the CAR T cells are very in vogue now. There's a man with cancer who went completely in remission due to the CAR T cells. So it's a promise, but there are some things that you still need to improve, which is the obsolescence of T cells, because when T cells fight cancer, they get quote unquote tired. So what we are trying to do is boost the T cell to improve CAR T. So that's the applicability of my research. So we are trying to find what are the genes that can increase the expression of T cells. We are doing some in vivo tests with some of the marks to see what are how the phenotype of the cells work and how they improve their response. I can see that you are an entrepreneur by doing research in the School of Medicine. So you are in a different school, it's like a post-grad, it's like a graduate school actually in the US. Could you comment a little bit, because you are one of the Brazilian leaders in Harvard. So how can you act and articulate and taking advantage of this range of opportunities that you have? I mean, you have only 24 hours a day. So how did you manage to do what you have done? And how did you arrive to the decisions that you made? What are the paths to take and what are the paths not to take? As I said, sometimes you get overwhelmed with the amount of opportunities that you have, that the university offers you. So in the first couple of semesters, you are exploring some classes in different areas to see if you like or not. That's what I did with statistics. And now next semester, I'm going to be a teaching assistant in statistics. And my parents, they like to tell me, well, you're very young now, you have a lot of energy, so try to take the most that you can, like try to follow the opportunities. That's why I'm working on this research. I'm one of the leaders of Brazilian students in Harvard together with João. I'm a part of BALSA, which is a Brazilian American Life Science Association. Basically, that's what the acronym means, BALSA. We have a lot of energy, but at the same time, the day has only 24 hours, so I try to be more intentional. I know that what I want to do has to do with biology, immunology, entrepreneurship. I want to work on my PhD. All my activities are focused on that. Perfect. For a Brazilian student that is dreaming to go to a university like Harvard, but they think it's too far away, like I will never be able to get there. Do you have any practical advice for these students? I think an interviewer from Harvard asked me this question. Sometimes they get alumni to interview you. One of the things that he told me is that, okay, the 3% of acceptance rate can be kind of scary. And I said, okay, Harvard is too hard. I'm gonna send my application to some other university. But he said, 3% is more than zero. So you have to trust yourself, show what you have done in the past few years. Don't think it's such a far away dream. I studied in a public school in Brazil, so a governmental school. So if your school don't offer some things, I think most of the teachers, they are available to help the students. They like to help the students to achieve something in their lives. So I think it's something feasible. If you are at the university, they're always, the students who are in Harvard, they are willing to help other Brazilian students arriving. So Isa, it's great to see you. We're going to talk again later. I'd like to welcome João. João, thank you so much for being here with us today. And following what Isa just said, you are the first person in your family to go to the university, right? So can you explain a little bit about your background? Where did you start? How did you get to where you are today? It's a pleasure, Jason. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the invitation. Isa, it's always great to hear you say, hear you talk. And when I come to this story of this day of being the first person of coming to the university. There's something that important for me to say, that we carry the action of our background. I think my undergrad students go beyond of having my dream. I want to be an entrepreneur in the future, but it goes beyond creating a project that has an impact in the planet and have a legacy. For me, is to carry my parents. My father had never graduated from high school, and my mother graduated from high school when he was an adult. So I saw my mother coming to school when I was in primary school, growing with this image, finding education as the only way to go. You have to study, find the university, and reach the university. I always saw school as the opportunity to change your life and the life of your family. And for me, understanding education is transformational. And for me, education is transformational. And I focus on social impact. I engage with Interact and other organizations. I got involved in politics. I found Harvard as the school who is really passionate about leadership, social development. I applied, and I don't know if it was fate, but it happened, and I'm carrying the dreams of my whole family, not only my dreams. Thank you, congratulations. Can you tell us a little bit, what is the focus of your studies? I know that it's between technology and politics, right? Can you tell me, how do you see these two areas? Do you think that these two areas have to talk, have to have a dialogue? And how do you connect them in your project? I know that you've been involved in a UN model, but this issue of technology and politics, how do you see all that? Actually, I have a double major, which in government, which is the political science, and computer science, which is completely, because they are so different areas. I think those are two extremes. Because they are two extremes, I thought, how can I combine them? And combining that is very important to me. In the beginning, it's kind of complicated because I like technology, robotics. So I searched the new iPhones on YouTube, but I was always have this engagement in social development and politics. And Harvard allowed me the opportunity to maybe find classes and professors that can allow me to have this, that will give me this spark, the spark of combining both. I didn't arrive at the university with a perfect path in both areas. Now I'm talking, I can have, I can use the algorithm and the game theory in election, for example. That's going to be my first experience in a class involving the three extremes in, it's a PhD class, so it's very complex. And in the meantime, I managed to understand my passions in government or politics. I managed to include technology and machine learning, and that's my focus. I'm a volunteer at MIT, and I teach web development for people in jail in the US. I always like to be a volunteer and work in social actions like this. And for me, how can I use neural networks and AI to improve the elections in Brazil? We know that political scenario in Brazil is complicated. And how can we use all that in our politics? I did some studies in LLM in the last election that you have in Brazil. This research was crucial. Okay, we can use this technology in election and in democracy. I was going to ask you a question about that, the use of AI. You're thinking about politics. It has to do with the election process and how to use technology. Is that it? Exactly. I think it's how, okay, how can we optimize that? I think we are in such a scenario to really have the human study, to study people. We are in an explosion of extremes. We have Brazil of a very development and industrial center, but using AI in politics, we are still crawling. We did discuss in our last election, but we are way behind. We see politicians use LM to produce fake news. And of course, we have a beneficial side that a professional you can use that, but what is the responsibility behind that? So I think that understanding the nuances of this technology, that's beneficial, but that is very dangerous as well. But it's less and less social. We have less engagement of people in politics. We see less and less people engaged in the extremes. So we have a tool that's so powerful. And how can we use this to get the best of both worlds and have people that are not very engaged, and how they can use these tools and progress in terms of society. Final question to you, before we start with the questions from the audience. Again, for those who are listening, you can send your questions to all of our guests here, and we are going to address them sooner than later. Now, one more question for Romaniza. Could you comment on what is the international situation? Okay, you're a student in the US, you're Brazilian. How is the academic environment in your day-to-day life, especially with the students from the US? How is this mix in the classroom, but also in campus? It's a great question, actually. I think that in the last few years, we are living in such a huge movement due to the American government, but I believe that the body of students in Harvard is very united. We are leaders of the Brazilian community, and we realize that we felt this feeling of unity, especially with the Latin community, of course, but we weren't so sure about Harvard, how they accept us in terms of international students. And throughout this time, we've learned how to get together, how to be united as students. And for me, it was crucial. I may be wrong, but I think that 20% of all Harvard students are international. I'm not sure, but something like that. We have a lot of people, a lot of people. So we learn how to find the best of each other. We support students coming from low-income families like me and Isa, so we share our backgrounds. And I think that that's the beauty of the student body in Harvard. We're always helping ourselves. I think that people see Harvard and they say, oh my God, this is so competitive. People are cutthroat, but I think it's the opposite. I don't see like that. I don't see people competing with you. It's more like a feeling. Each one are trying to do the best for them. And I think having this feeling is very important. And it's part of our daily life. Thank you so much, Ron. Just to add, I know that the percentage of people in graduation is around 20%, but is less than some of the universities. I know some of the universities have up to 50% of international students, but you have the experience of, as a researcher at the School of Medicine, how is this international environment in research in the lab? I think that college, the first 4 years of the university, it's around 20%, but I'm surrounded by so many international people that we have around that it seems like this number is higher than that. And in my lab, my mentor is from India. The colleague who works in the same research group, he was born in Bangladesh. We have 2 Chinese who work with us. We have Brazilians. We have people from all over the world. Maybe more international people than Americans in this lab. I'm not sure, but from my surroundings, that's what I see. But just like Ron said, I agree totally what he said. I have a group of international students, and during like some complicated times, they have messages live being told to us like, you recommend doing this and that to our visas. And sometimes we don't really know about like tax income in the US. So we exchange ideas about that. We try to navigate together the issues that are not part of our upbringing. So I think, again, 20% is in college, Harvard Business School. I'm sure that it's more than 50%. Other schools might have 20%, but as a whole, I'd say 30%, 40%. I don't know. We have a lot of international students. So when there was all this issue that we had with international students, it's crazy, it's surreal, because it's very important to have international students in Harvard, not only for financially speaking, but for how Harvard is. I mean, in my freshman year, I had an American, a Mexican American, actually, one from the US, the other from India. I wouldn't have the opportunity of live with all these people anywhere else. So we don't have these opportunities anywhere else. So again, thank you so much. Now I'm gonna go for the Q&A from the audience. We have a question from Deborah. I'm gonna switch to English because I'm gonna ask the question. It's the question for someone from the Sanya University. I'm gonna ask the question in English, okay? You can keep sending questions. Deborah asks the following.
It's a pleasure. I'm going to ask some questions on behalf of the audience. We have someone who's watching, Deborah, who has a question. If the University of Sanya has courses in English for international students, or how do you work with international students at Sanya?
All right. It is very welcoming for, I think, all the international students coming to Sanya University to experience the campus life, the social life in Highland Province, one of the 1,000 most tropical cities. It's also very beautiful. Jason has witnessed that. And how we work with international students, we are in a chain of system set up to serve for the international student. When they first come here, we're going to assign dedicated faculty member to help them get the life studied on the campus with one of the unique ancient culture. Everybody knows China has a long history. Especially, we also have a special language, which is quite unique compared to Western language, as Sean and Jocelyn was mentioned earlier. And secondly, we offer a wide range of curriculum for the undergraduate student to choose, just like in the Western education system. We in Sanya University not force you to choose a major when you're freshman or even sophomore year. You have opportunity to pick up your major as you progress in the third year and the fourth year or later. And our teaching also can be translated in AI tool instantly to the language you feel comfortable to learn, to study, to interact with other students and the teacher. Thirdly, your project assigned to you will be uniquely modified, turned for your background and where you're coming from, what language you're speaking, what's your formal interest in terms of your career goals and what you're going to do in the future. And fourthly, not lastly, as I mentioned earlier, the life experience on the campus are very easy. You are going to be using advanced technology tools like in the payment system, transportation, and communication with other international students, Chinese students, all are equipped with apps. We call application. You can pretty much download all the application from the campus technology website to get your life going on campus. It's very, very easy and rewarding experience. I also going to leave a couple of minutes to Jocelyn and Sean to talk in person how they are going to interchange, get the study for international going from their perspective.
Great. So now I have a question. Vou transicionar para o português porque é uma pergunta para o.
I'm going to switch to Portuguese because it's a question to João and Isa. So, João, I think you have an experience with UN model, and my question is, is China interesting to work internationally? US, they're all interesting, but what are the other countries that are interesting? Those following this slide, they're studying in US or China, but what the audience wants to know from your experience in the UN, what are your perceptions in terms of countries and opportunities? It's a great question, Jason. I think that I was thinking about different countries to apply. I had different options, but there are some countries in Europe that I think they are very strong in terms of the topics of my study. I would mention Australia, for the University of Sydney, for example, who has an awesome campus in Europe. I think Switzerland, they have great campus. ETH Zurich, I think that's the name. I'm not sure. ETH Zurich, I think that's it. University of Geneva, there are large universities, and they have a huge focus in STEM and business. Maybe I think those are the two countries that I was looking for. Portugal, they have also scholarship for Brazilians, the University of Coimbra. France also had France's in terms of residence and visa for the Sorbonne University. I say, Switzerland, Portugal, France, the Netherlands, I guess. Actually, yeah, the Netherlands, not Holland, are nice regions with great opportunities, especially because they provide scholarships. I think the US and China are great examples that provide scholarship for international students. In Europe, you have to go deeper and really do your homework. But I think that especially Europe and Asian countries like China has a lower cost of life than the US, and their ability to buy more. Your cost of life is lower, different from the US, because we have some purchase power, but it's not comparable. And I believe the Netherlands are some are options. Isa, I don't know if you have anything else to say, to add to what João just said. I think that João mentioned many countries. I would just highlight there's a program called Erasmus. I think it's for graduate studies, so you can apply directly to the program. It's more centralized. And I was trying to get into this program, and then I realized it was just for graduate school, not undergrad. Sometimes the university in the US, they give you 100% scholarship, but not all schools do that. And in Europe, it's more likely. They are usually cheaper, and they have many great schools in China. Like I have a colleague doing his master's that we have other universities and have other options than the US if you want to explore. Now I'm going to switch to English again.
We have two questions for Sanya. One is from Maria Victoria. She's actually a student that I've worked with, and she's shown a great interest in knowing more about Sanya and opportunities in China. And she writes, as a future software engineer, I would also like to know how I could contribute to Sanya University through research, technology projects, innovation initiatives, or collaborations with students. So maybe our guests from Sanya could explain how an international student with interest, but who doesn't yet know how to generate an opportunity at Sanya, how does that work? How do you get involved? How do you do research? How do you get involved in a program at Sanya?
Thank you, Jason. And as I mentioned earlier, for the international student, when they first arrive at Sanya University campus, we are assigned a dedicated faculty to the student. The student will be help you to get into the classroom, get your research going. Then you are going to form a project-based curriculum with the faculty member. The faculty member will guide you through the whole process regarding what kind of class you're going to take, first year, sophomore year, and blah, blah. Then during the teaching and the learning project, and for instance, in one of the summer semester, you might be interested in go to Geely Automobile Company to design the car, the e-wheels. Then the faculty member will guide you to the specialists in the Geely Automobile Company. So you two will form a group to start a project. Also, we're going to offer you the funding for the research, offer you channel to publicize, apply your work. So then at the end, you are going to come back to the campus to submit your report, submit your finished project. Then you're going to get graded on the project, not on the course, on the exam you take it in the classroom. So let's focus on your teaching project-based need. We prepare you for future career in terms of research, business work, and other areas.
Great. Another question we had is about language. And as we talked about at the beginning, right, the difference between Mandarin and English or Portuguese is quite large. So congratulations to all of our guests. I in 2 weeks in China, unfortunately, was only able to learn how to say, please and to greet somebody. I wish I could learn more. So it's a challenge. I know that there is technology and AI, and that's a part of the solution. But if you could just speak, how would an international student at Sanya, try to improve language skills? Part of it's probably technology, but other parts are, personal. How do your international students approach that challenge?
It is a great question, Jason. I'm going to leave it to Jocelyn and Sean using their personal experience to talk about it. Jocelyn?
Okay, so thanks for Din Yu, and from my own perspective, because I am a student majoring in the international economics and trade, and it's a joint program cooperates with Berkeley College. So we have the period to get familiar with our foreign teacher when we were freshmen. And I would like to share one of my experience. It's about my own recent project. about a cross-border e-commerce business that targeting Southeast Asia. And I started from building an account to running a real store from scratch on the TikTok shop without going abroad, you know. So which lets me explore the cross-border startup work directly, and I can also improve my language skills. All these experiences make me more confident to maybe work abroad in the future, and also broaden my global business vision a lot.
Thank you so much, Jocelyn. Sean, I don't know if you have any additional perspective to add on the question of language learning. Sean, I think you're on mute.
About the language learning, I have a few points. In my point of view, language learning is I think it's difficult process to finish. In my campus life, I have participated some speech that to share your point in English, and with some international students. I just meet international students at a SIM card store, and I helped him to buy the SIM card. Help him to buy the SIM card with the Chinese sales, and this process helped me improve my language learning, and I think this is good for our improvement. Yeah.
Excellent. So we usually keep these events to 1 hour. There's a lot of great content that we could always try to pack in. I'd like to just close going around to each of you and offering you a chance just to give a piece of advice. So obviously our public are students with interests in international experiences, right? Some of those would be at top institutions, whatever the country is. Others have a specific interest in China, and I'm sure some were attracted to the experiences that João and Isa are having at Harvard. So I'd like to just close with advice, keeping in mind the target audience, and you've heard some of the questions about how do you break down international barriers? How do you go to another place? If you all have succeeded in that in a way that I'm sure many of our listeners would like to, what advice would you offer? And I'll start first with you, Isa, please.
In English or Portuguese?
Pode ser português, aí a gente faz os brasileiros em português e o resto em
It
inglês.
can be in Portuguese, Brazilians in Portuguese, the rest in English.
Eu acho que vocês já deram o primeiro
I
passo
think
também
that you took the first step coming to this call with us, talking to us and listen to what we have to say. Maybe the best way to find out how to study internationally is to listening for those who are there and those who are doing their undergrad or graduate studies abroad. And you can call us on LinkedIn or on Instagram. I'm very open. Sometimes it takes me some time to enter, but every time I see a message, somebody asking something, I'm open to help. We want to grow our Brazilian community here. And about reaching, sometimes you feel lonely, you miss home, but you have Brazilian community here and you're gonna feel at home wherever you are. And I think it's very important if you wanna go back to Brazil or not, to have an international experience, because you learn about the difference about in terms of your worldview compared to people who didn't grow up in the same culture as you. You become more unique than people who are just focusing on one single country. Another way to do it, and I opened the YouTube to check the comments, and I see that I think there's international offices of our university. So that's a way, a perfect way to ask questions, check partnerships, and go after your dream. Thank you, Isa. João, your turn. I agree with Isa. The first step is taking the first step. To be here and to take the risk. Everything starts with a dream. So when I realized that I wanted to come here, I wanted to study abroad and start with the idealization, so idealizing or dreaming about what you want, and then go after the information. I'm on LinkedIn, so if you want to get in contact with me, my LinkedIn is all open among my so many tags open. I'll have my LinkedIn open. So if you want to know more about exchange, we are part of the Leaders of Cuba. So it's great to have our events, our parties, our chat. I'm also the co-president of the HMS, which is HBS. Anyway, it's a Brazilian association in Harvard. So we are calling graduate students, if you cannot do your undergrad in Harvard, if you already have your undergrad, but if you, because of your H1 or work abroad, I don't know if you have the insurance, but if you put HBASS in Google and Harvard, Google probably is gonna link it to our Instagram account. We are open to answer your questions in terms of mentorship, and that's it. So keep engaged. I think it's very important, as you said, to really cold call people. Feel free, because we were at one time these people. You can have a call with me, and again, we want to repeat the cycles that we've been through. Great, thank you, João.
So I would love to get just thoughts and ending advice from Jocelyn, and then from Sean, and then from DU. So Jocelyn, if you have any thoughts for the people who are watching us, who have interests in international things, there's a great deal of interest in China, probably less knowledge than interest, but there's a great deal of interest. Any advice that you have? And Jocelyn, I believe you're on mute.
Okay, thank you for the questions. Can you hear me right now? Okay, so as I am an undergraduate student, maybe my thoughts are not correct, or but I would say that just as our Brazil friend said, that the first step is the first step. So it's a good start for the foreign students that who wants to exchange the culture with, to speak out, from my perspective, I once, joined an online international exchange program, and I think it brought me so many good changes. When I talked with overseas students, I don't just stick to the textbook like business knowledge. I learned real ideas from different countries, and I dare to share my cross-border projects, or like small language problems maybe push me to use the AI translation tools. But I gradually stopped fearing speaking with foreigners. So um, and that's it.
Great. Yes. So great advice from the three have gone so far. It's like just start and don't be afraid of making mistakes because you're gonna make mistakes, right? You know, just
Yes.
go for it. Yeah. Sean, how about you? Any parting thoughts?
Advice for international students come want to know about China. First, learn several basic Chinese sentence, daily communication, get used the mobile payments and the convenient public transport like subways by local SIM card. Yeah, join students clubs, and we have um, various activities in University of Sanya, and I think that will help and make more fans and experience Chinese culture. Besides, obey local laws. Finally, bravely try different Chinese food. You can also find a foreign restaurant if you miss your hometown flavor.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sean. And Dean, you thank you so much for being here. Thank you for helping to bring Jocelyn and Sean to the conversation. Your parting thoughts, please.
Great. Thank you, Jason. Thank you for all the participants. It's an exciting opportunity for us to share our experience, introduce you and all the audience about the life and about the University of Sanya. What I want to say the last is come to Sanya University to China to experience the different culture. China actually, after the economic reform in early 80s, are different. Now we are not in terms of traditional, we are not in terms of very inconvenient. Chinese is not very difficult to learn with modern technology, and also Chinese students is also like to communicate with the international world and with the participant, as you have witnessed today from Jocelyn and Sean. All those traditional view on China and Chinese are totally changed. So as dean of the business school of Sanya University, I personally welcome all the interested students come to Sanya to have a short stay, a couple of weeks, or study in Sanya University. In Chinese, 我在三亚等你们. I'm waiting for you at Sanya. Thank you, John.
Muito obrigado. Então, eu vou também dar os meus últimos conselhos.
Thank you so very much. I'm gonna give you my final advice. I totally agree with taking the first steps, with many of our guests talked about, but you also have to take the second step. It's not very easy when you start. Any international thing, Brazilian in Harvard or Chinese outside of China, it's not easy. It's never easy. You have this issue of being isolated. You have to really fall and stand up again. And based on what some people said, the Global Alliance Vice President, Mr. Tarabs, he said, patience, you must be patient. You have to act, you have to run after your dream, but you need to be a long-term patient. It's not gonna be trivial. I do believe in that, and I believe in the value of people. So I'm really happy, and I'm really grateful for the participation of all of you, João and Isa. who open their themselves to receive your questions. I like
and Jocelyn and Dean
Yep.
Yu for being here, right? They've taken a first step. I had a chance to have great, warm receptions at Sanya and in China. It's just a first step. It's a small first step, but all of the steps that come after it are because of the first one. And you have to keep going, even if the first one wasn't in the greatest direction and you make a mistake. So I'm really excited to try to help open doors together with my colleagues at UniInter. I think there's so much opportunity between China and Brazil. Obviously, excited to do that across all countries. But I think it's an area where there's been a huge amount of growth. There are a lot of things that make it mutually interesting, both because of interest, because of investment, because of really rich cultures and different histories. And I'm excited that UniInter has had the opportunity to increase its focus on this and look forward to taking second and third and fourth steps together. So, muito obrigado. Thank you very much. Boa noite, bom dia, and nos vemos na próxima.